Okay, welcome back. So before we were stopped by Zoom based on our subscription, we looked at the various levels that we have for the joke underscore identifier variable. So we have so many, like 127. So, but each of the values is being populated with the name of the comedian, the city, and the version of the event. That's the event that has been occurring. Is the number of times that it has occurred. So we want to make sense of the values that are here. We first of all want to extract out the name of the comedian. So for that, we are looking at creating a new variable called comedian. So it's going to store taking the value for all the comedian names. So we're using this functionality case when. You can get more information on case when by going through using the question mark case underscore when. So there you have the more information on the functionality, but I'll go ahead and explain. What we're looking at here is that we look at the left side. There is an argument here that has to return true or false. So if it's true, this value is going to be assigned to that observation. So wherever we detect apororo, we would put that value apororo on that same observation, that same row for the comedian variable. The same thing goes for Alibaba, AY. I've completed the code. So I've looked at all the various, okay, yeah. Sorry, I missed out this in the, so I'm looking at the variable, that's the column joker underscore identifier. So I'm going to detect each of the names of the comedian on this variable, on this column. So we'll look through the column, that's the joker identifier column. Wherever we find apororo, we'll assign apororo on the comedian variable, that's the comedian column. So let's run this bunch of codes and see what we can get out of it now. So now let's go back to the environment and look at the comedy. Can you see now we have, wherever we have Clint, the drunk, we have the name here now. So the same thing goes for Alibaba. We have Alibaba. AY, we have basket mouth. And the same thing goes all and all and all. Can see Agodai is here for Uyo. So you can do the same thing on your own side by detecting the names of the cities to get out the column for that. Maybe that should be your assignment then. Get out the names of each of the cities where they performed and assign it to maybe another column named city or location. You can create that to make sense of what we just did now. So we can see the value of using the str underscore detect. So it helps us to get out all the comedians' name. And that's the beauty of using it for our data manipulation. So now we have something meaningful on the other side. So I think we can go ahead and look at other functions. So now let's look at str. Want to look at on str underscore to lower. Here we can, the function is going to help us convert a string that is being assigned to it. It converts it to lowercase. So I will take an example as this. I'm using this string, so I pass it in now, then we'll run the line of code. So now we can see all what we have in the string now is returned as lowercase. So the same thing goes for the functionality str underscore to upper to. So same thing goes here. So it's going to return back the string in uppercase. So we have all the uppercase here. So then we can decide, maybe we're having our string in maybe lowercase, we can decide to make it into a title format, where all the first letter, the first character of each of the string is being returned as a capital letter. So let's see, I'll make this small letter, smaller letter. So I'll run this line. So now we have all the first character of each of the words is being written as capital letter. Okay, so let's see which other functions do we have there. So another one that we can look at is the str underscore glue. This is going to be under the join and split section of the cheat sheet. So I'll go over now to, so we'll look at so join and split. So here using str underscore c, so we'll pass in the strings that we want to concatenate. So this function str underscore c is helping us to concatenate strings that are passed in. So if you use the question mark str underscore c, we'll get more information on it. So it's joining multiple strings into a single string. Okay, so we can see Ali, Baba, maybe in Lagos. Okay, so with this we can run the line, so we have everything joined together. So if you're going to have the space between Alibaba and the in, then we'll have to go back and put it in there, put the space, maybe the full stop here, then we'll have something meaningful here. So that's like concatenating the two strings. So another functionality that we can look at in the string package within the tidyverse is also duplicate. We can duplicate the strings as many times as we want. So that we are going to use the str underscore duplicate. So we'll use the same thing here. So here we need to tell the function how many times do we want it repeated, maybe 5 times. So we'll click, we'll run the line of code and you can see what we're getting back. So we have Alibaba repeated 5 times, 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5. So moving on, we'll look at, let's look at str underscore glue. Str underscore glue is an interesting function that we can use to pass in our values. So here, str underscore glue, we can look at the documentation if you want. So str underscore glue. So instead of something, this is a function that you can use much more better compared to what you can do with str underscore c, that's concatenating the strings. This functionality allows you to have everything within the quotation mark, the double quotation mark. You have the value that you're looking at as well as the strings that you want to combine with it. So let's look at something like, we want to combine the comedian name and the rating for the comedian. So let's look at that now so that we make sense of this, the function. Although it does the same thing as what you have in the, that's for the str underscore c. Okay, if you look down, it's returning the same thing. But one thing is this: if you are going to use a variable and you want to concatenate or combine it with a string that is not within the variable, then that means you have to be using the commas, the double quotation, so many places when you are talking about the str underscore c. But if we're looking at str underscore glue, we wouldn't be needing that. So I will do that now for you to see the value. So let me see. We look at comedian. I want to create a new column. Let's see here. Comedy. I'll bring in the data set. That's the table. Alt and see. So comedy. Okay, so I'll pipe that into mutate, the mutate function. So I'm going to use, cut out this, and maybe I'll say rating underscore summary. So this is going to be assigned to this. So I'll use, that will be, I'm looking at the comedian now, colon. I want to put in the comedian name. So I'll use the curly braces. So this is going to take in that will be the comedian variable. So that will take a comma after it. Then the rating now is going to be using the curly braces. I'll pass in the variable again. So that will be rating. So that's the rating. So I want to have something returned, a string returned to me, where we'll have comedian colon the comedian name, comma, rating, the rating of that comedian for that observation. So now let me see what we'll have now. Let's run that. Since I'm going to have this, then we'll be able to view it for the column. So let's run this first. Okay. So now if you look up, you can see rating underscore summary. You can see what we have in here, but let's now assign it to the table. so that we can now view it. So here you can see we now have the comedian, so the comedian colon Clint underscore Control C. So let me take it into this place. So this is what we have as the output for each of the observations. So you can see we have comedian colon Clint the drunk, then rating colon the value of the ratings for that for the comedian for that event. So for Enugu, the viewer gave Clint rating of 0.1. So that the same thing goes for all the observations that we're having here. So this is just the output. So, but if we want to do it using, let me copy out this one. Using the str underscore C, we would not be able to use it in just one double quotation mark. So we would need to be using, that would be rating underscore, let's say another one. So that means I'll have to be using str underscore C. I will not be able to use it this way. It's going to give me error. Some kind of Okay, for the return value now we have for summary one, I can't see this here. So let me just bring it down to summary one. So I'll put the one in front, one underscore this. No. So let's go back and put it in. Okay. So if you look up now, we couldn't see it in the while running it without assigning to the data, the table. So now what you can see now is this. It's not returning back the value, but if I want to use it the right way, I would have to be doing this. Space, then comma, comedian, comma, then this would have to be in quotation, comma. So I'm still going on. So this is the only way. I'll have to be doing the quotation marks in for different strings that are outside the values that I'm passing in. So now let's run this and see what we would get now. So right now we're getting the same thing, but it's much more easier to have all of them in one quotation mark for me. And I think that's the idea for those who created the stringr and having this functionality within it. So I hope that makes sense to us all. So you can pass in as many variables as you want in the same one single quotation mark for the str underscore glue. So, but for str underscore C, you have to put all this separately. The strings that doesn't belong to the variable has to be outside and quoted separately. So any question at this point? You can put your question into the chat box and we'll be able to answer that. Any question? Okay, I think we can go on. Okay, let's look at which other functionalities are we going to be looking at. So I want us to go into the regular expression because time is running out on us now. So I'll just show you an example of what you can do using the regular expression. You have to read that because we have only 2 hours here. So for the regular expression, you can check out the cheat sheets and try to read up. Then we can make up on the class for another class that will be fixed. So I'll put in. So for the events, so I want to create a new variable for the events and the location using regular expression. So here, I'm going to use the extract, str_extract, to bring out the value for the edition, the event edition. So if I run this line of code, the pattern that I'm passing in, I'm asking str_extract to get out the numeric value within the string. So that's what the \and d is representing. So if I run this line of code now and I check back our table, so we're going to have for each of the observations the event edition. So we can see it's 1. It's 1 here, 1. The next one is 2, 1, 2, and so on. So the next one is the location. I'm asking str_extract to use the pattern that I can get out the strings close to the end of the string that is being returned, that is being looked at as the string that is passing in. So the pattern that is going to look for is string as well as numbers that falls at the end of the string. So for each of the observations, we're going to look for to the end. We're looking for the number is going to be at the end of the value for that observation. Then the next one going to the left is going to be text, that strings A to Z, anything between A to Z. Just take that out and space. So there's going to be a word representing maybe the location according to the information we have on within the data set. So what we have here for the joke _identifier, we have the name of the comedian, the city, that's the location, and the event edition. So from the end, we're looking at the event edition, then the city, that's the next text, and the string that is following. So, but in between the city, the location, and the number, there is space in between them. So that's what this regular expression is representing now. We have the text, we have the space, and we have the number between 0 and 9. So, and all these two falls at the end of the string. So that's what we're going to take out from the joke the joke identifier. So when we've gotten out these last two items, we're now going to extract out only the text. So we're going to discard the space and the number that we're getting at the end of the string. So we'll run this line and we'll have the location. Okay, so we'll go back to our, so now we have our beautiful, well, carved out the variable. So now we have the location variable where we have all the cities or the locations where all these events have been took place. So that's the beauty of manipulating your string. We get more information, insights from the value that have been returned to us. So we can also make sense of it and carve out new values from the variables that we're having. So there's a lot you can do with your string manipulation, and I hope with this class you've been able to learn quite a lot that you can work with to come out with more information. So I will employ you to work on extracting, using what we've learned here to extract out more information on this data set. So I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for being here. And let me look at, okay, somebody is asking, can I explain the \D? That's representing digits. The D stands for the digit. If you go back to the cheat sheets, you'll be able to get more information from it. So the / helps us to send special characters to R within RStudio. So when you put in the / and another / with the letter D, the / and the letter D stands for digits, while the first / is helping us to escape discarding the next \. I hope our / has maybe. So I hope that's clear. Robinson, is that clear? Okay, thank you so much. So I think at this point we'll have to round up the class. If there is no more question, I think we'll round up the class now. Thank you so much. See you next week.